My life changed forever 4 months before I was supposed to start college. I'm Sarah Thompson, and I still remember that date like it was yesterday. The day I discovered my $100K college fund was gone. Gone because my parents had given it to my sister Emma to buy a house with her boyfriend Marcus. Growing up, Emma was always my parents' golden child. When I was younger, I didn't think much about how they coddled her, despite being older than me. I just accepted that I was expected to handle everything on my own while she got endless support and attention. The favoritism became more obvious as I got older. But what could I do? I learned to live with being second best in my parents' eyes. I spent my weekends and after-school hours working as a barista at a local cafe, finding some peace in the rhythmic sounds of the espresso machine and friendly chatter of regular customers. The coffee shop became my escape, a place where I felt valued for my hard work rather than constantly compared to my sister. Our extended family lived in different states, so we rarely saw them, including my grandparents. But I knew my paternal grandparents had set aside money for my college education. 3 years ago, my grandfather passed away, followed by my grandmother last year. According to their joint will, which would only be executed after both had passed, they had left a substantial college fund for me. They were fair in dividing their assets. My parents received their estate, and Emma got all their expensive jewelry. The college fund was my portion. It seemed equitable since everyone got something of similar value. But since I wasn't 18 yet, my parents were entrusted with my share. Looking back, I don't blame my grandparents. They had no way of knowing what would happen. To them, we probably looked like the perfect family my parents always pretended to be around others. Only I knew the truth about their blatant favoritism. I never spoke up about it. After all, they weren't physically abusive, just emotionally distant. So my grandparents had every reason to trust my parents would do right by me. If only they had known the reality of our family dynamic. The discovery. The truth came out when I finally asked about accessing the fund. I was already deep into college applications and would soon need the money to secure my spot. At first, my parents kept deflecting, saying, "We'll discuss it when the time comes," or "Just focus on your applications for now." But something felt off about their evasive responses. I kept pushing, my anxiety growing with each vague answer. Finally, over dinner one evening, they dropped the bomb. They had transferred all my college money to Emma. She was house hunting with Marcus, and according to them, needed the money more. Emma, a private kindergarten teacher, and Marcus, a zookeeper, had their hearts set on a house in an upscale neighborhood they couldn't actually afford. A house is a lifetime investment, my mom explained, as if that justified everything. The casual way she said it made my blood boil. The irony was almost laughable. Emma, making decent money at an elite private school, couldn't afford the luxurious house she wanted, so my future was being sacrificed for her materialistic dreams. Between sips of my now cold dinner coffee, a habit from my barista job, I tried to understand their logic. Why can't they just keep renting until they've saved enough? I asked, my voice trembling with barely contained anger. Why does it have to be my college fund? My dad just shrugged, while my mom scrolled through her phone, probably looking at Emma's latest Instagram post about house hunting. The more I thought about it, the more furious I became. Emma and Marcus were always posting about their dream home journey, carefully staged photos of them at open houses, close use of granite countertops and hardwood floors, all with captions about manifesting their perfect home. I completely lost it that night. Years of pent-up frustration exploded as I screamed and cried, my hands shaking so hard I knocked over my coffee mug. But my parents remained unmoved. They had their own twisted justification. Since Emma had to take out student loans for college, it would be unfair for me to have it easier. According to them, I needed to pay my dues like she did. We're not letting you live life on easy mode, my father said firmly. It would be a slap in the face to your sister. I tried reasoning with them. I reminded them about the jewelry Emma had inherited, suggested she could sell some pieces to fund her house dreams. But they dismissed everything with an infuriating casualness, saying what's done was done. The confrontation. When I threatened to sue them, my parents just laughed. With what money? They mocked, their voices dripping with condescension. That moment is seared into my memory. Sitting at our kitchen table, my coffee gone cold, while they smirked at my powerlessness. My hands were trembling as I gripped my barista apron, still on from my afternoon shift. I'd never felt more humiliated. The weight of my silence over the years crushed me. Why hadn't I ever told anyone how they treated me? Sure, they weren't violent, just emotionally distant, treating me like an afterthought while Emma basked in their attention. Maybe if I'd spoken up, my grandparents would have made different arrangements. Those thoughts tortured me as I sat there, watching my parents scroll through Emma's latest Instagram posts of luxury home tours. That night, I made two decisions. First, I was leaving. I had some savings from my cafe job, not much, but enough to get by for a while. Second, I was finally going to speak up and reach out to our extended family. Even sleeping on park benches seemed better than staying in that house another night. Taking action. I packed what I could fit in my backpack, mainly clothes, important documents, and a few cherished photos of my grandparents. My friend's family took me in without hesitation when I showed up at their door. That night, after explaining everything to them, I started reaching out to relatives through Facebook. Dad was an only child, but he had cousins, including Uncle James, Major James Wilson, my grandfather's older brother's son. He held significant influence in the family, both from his military rank and his age. When he responded to my message the next morning, I felt my first glimmer of hope in days. During our phone call, I poured out everything: the years of favoritism, the stolen college fund, my parents' mockery. Uncle James listened quietly, his silence somehow more comforting than any words could have been. When he finally spoke, his voice was steady and assured. "Focus on your studies, Sarah. I'll handle this now," he said. "But you'll need to stay away from your parents for a while." I was already doing that, so I agreed. Just a few hours later, my phone started blowing up with messages and calls from my parents. They were panicking because Uncle James had contacted our grandparents' lawyer about the misappropriation of my college fund. The parents' reaction. I didn't answer their calls, but I read their frantic messages. They were suddenly singing a different tune, promising to help with tuition if I would just talk to Uncle James and stop the legal proceedings. Mom's texts were particularly desperate. "Sarah, honey, please understand. Emma's already in the final stages of buying her dream house. It would break her heart to back out now. We'll figure out your college expenses, I promise. Just call off your uncle. We're so sorry about how he behaved. We were just stressed about having this conversation. Please give us another chance to make things right." But their messages revealed their unchanged priorities. They still couldn't bear to throw Emma under the bus by asking for the money back. Even now, her feelings mattered more than my future. The confrontation call. Finally, I decided to hear them out one last time. When I called, they picked up instantly, both talking over each other about how sorry they were, how they'd been stressed, how they would fix everything. But there was always a caveat. They couldn't ask Emma to return the money because it wasn't her fault. "She's so close to getting her dream house, Sarah," Mom pleaded. "You wouldn't want to crush her dreams, would you?" "We'll handle your tuition payments," Dad added quickly. "Just tell your uncle to back off." Their words confirmed what I'd always known. I would never be their priority. Emma's dreams would always come before my needs. I ended the call with a simple, "I want my money back." All of it. Then I blocked their numbers. Moving forward. 2 days later, Uncle James helped me move into an apartment with a roommate slightly older than me. She was studying nursing and worked similar hours to my barista schedule. The apartment wasn't fancy, nothing like the house Emma was trying to buy, but it felt like freedom. I could cover all your expenses, Uncle James offered, his usually gruff voice softening. But I think managing your own grocery budget with your cafe job will teach you valuable life skills. I agreed. After years of being treated as an afterthought, having someone believe in my capabilities meant everything. The mediation. The virtual mediation session was scheduled for the following week. Seeing my parents on screen was strange. They looked nervous, nothing like the dismissive people who had laughed at me in our kitchen. They quickly agreed with everything our lawyer said about their wrongdoing, then brought up their original settlement offer again. "We'll handle all her college expenses," Dad promised, his voice shaking. "There's no need to involve lawyers." I cut him off. "I want my entire fund back. All of it. But Emma's dream house." Mom started. "I don't care about her dream house," I said firmly, my voice steady despite my racing heart. "That money was meant for my education." After some back and forth, they requested another mediation session. Our lawyer seemed confident we'd wrap everything up then. I knew they wouldn't risk spending the money now. That would only make their legal situation worse. An unexpected message. Later that evening, I received an Instagram message from Emma. My heart skipped a beat when I saw her name pop up on my screen. "Sarah, I had no idea they used your college fund," she wrote. "They just offered to help with the down payment. I never questioned where the money came from. I'm so sorry about all of this." Her message surprised me. We weren't close, but we weren't enemies either. Our childhood fights had evolved into a civil, if distant, relationship in recent years. Her apology seemed genuine, even though it wasn't really her responsibility. "Thank you," I replied simply. It wasn't exactly forgiveness, but it was something. Maybe someday we could build a real sisterly relationship, but for now, this neutral ground felt right. Epilogue. A month into college life, I'm finally feeling settled. My roommate and I have become close friends, bonding over late-night study sessions and shared coffee from my barista special recipes. Uncle James and Aunt Linda helped me move in, staying nearby until I was completely settled. The college fund is back where it belongs, and better yet, I got a scholarship. The extra money will give me a solid start after graduation. Sometimes during my morning coffee breaks between classes, I think about how different things could have been if Uncle James hadn't stepped up. Emma and I exchange occasional likes on social media. Nothing deep, but civil. She and Marcus are still renting, looking at houses within their actual budget now. As for my parents, well, that's a relationship that will take more time to figure out, if ever. But sitting here in my favorite campus coffee shop, watching students rush to classes while I sip my perfectly crafted latte, some habits never change. I feel at peace. Life isn't perfect, but it's good. Really good. And for the first time in my life, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.